Hello, lovely people. Hope you're well. Welcome to the first episode of Fight Friday. This show will be obviously happening on a Friday, talking about fights. So nothing crazy about the title really, but just a new show going to be doing on a Friday. Before the fights on Saturdays, etc. And just gonna be chopping up a few things that have happened over the last couple of days. First, you got a shout out to Luke Tanner, shout out to Jamie Phillips, who I don't know if he's still in the chat or not. Links to their channels are in the description. Make sure you go and follow those guys. Without those guys, this channel wouldn't be where it is today. Shout out to everyone, man. Hope you enjoyed the week so far. Hope you have a smashing end to the week as well. So, me, Jamie, and Luke on Combat Catch Up on Tuesday, we're speaking, and we have done for a while actually, been speaking for a little while about the lack of promotion from UFC for upcoming fights, for fighters, etc. For me, it's almost as though they know they've reached the pinnacle. They're a blue chip organization now. They're at the tip of everyone's tongue. So they've kind of taken a step back and just kind of let things play out, which is all good from a business standpoint. But when you're striving to be the best, you have that hunger. When you reach the pinnacle, you still have that hunger to stay there and take it to another level. And UFC have showed signs of doing that, obviously the Sphere, etc. But their fight promotions especially have just been really lackluster and poor of late. You look at some of the fights that we've had over the last few months, and you just think, where was the promotion? Where was the real promotion for that fight? However, Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway for the featherweight championship of the world. This is promotion. And again, it's such a simple concept, a face-off. Not even in person, virtually. But Ilia Topuria and Max Holloway, you see where my brain is. I wish I could have a holiday. Max Holloway had a sit-down face-to-face with Brendan Fitzgerald. And I'll be honest with you, it was brilliant. And look, everyone knows how big of a Max fan I am. I rate Ilia so much, but I'm a massive Max fan. And I have to be honest, I think if we're judging it and scoring how that face-off went, I think Ilia got the better of Max. I really do think he does. Now, Max has never been the greatest trash talker. He's never prided himself on being a trash talker. He just kind of says how he feels, says it is what it is, and lets his fighting, for the most part, do the talking. He's very laid back. However, it did seem that Ilia managed to rattle Max a little bit, which, again, it's not the first time he's done it. Ilia rattled Paddy Pimblett. He's rattled Volkanovski, in my opinion. Now he's rattled Max Holloway. And it's all well and good rattling someone if, you can't really back it up. Ilia's shown time and time again that he can talk the talk and walk the walk. So it's not just like he's just someone who you don't really rate as a fighter, just yapping about. It's someone is dangerous enough to knock you out or out-grapple you or submit you on the ground as well. Ilia is a complete fighter. And Holloway didn't seem like he dealt with it well. And there was one thing that really stood out for me. It was it's when Ilia said, you didn't want the fight. You had to be forced to take the fight. Now, Max is a warrior. He's the BMF, for goodness sake. Like, Max doesn't turn down fights. I'll go through. Max has fought Aldo twice. First time was in Brazil. He's fought McGregor. He's fought Poirier twice. Gaethje. He wanted to fight Khabib on short notice. They had to pull him out of the fight. Remember, it was like 6 days notice he's going to fight Khabib. Who else is there? I mean, who's who? Who's who? Max fought Volk 3 times. Every time he lost, he said, right, I'm going to get another title shot because I'm just going to keep on knocking off contenders. What does he do? Keeps on knocking off contenders. In my opinion, the knockout of the year so far against Justin Gaethje probably will end up just being a knockout of the year unless someone does something really spectacular between now and the end of the year. And if there's one thing you don't want to accuse Max of, and that's being someone who ducks fights. Like, to be fair to Max, he called out Topuria in the cage after he beat Gaethje. He's called out Topuria online. So I think this was a very smart tactical move from Topuria to kind of play to Max's ego and his pride. Because as humble as Max is, he's still a fighter. He's still going to have an ego and he's still going to have pride. And for you to chip away at that is a smart move. Even if it's not truthful, it's still a smart move because you saw the reaction from Max. Everything else Ilya said pretty much was like, we'll see October 26th. And I know people have been memeing that and mocking Max a little bit for that. But that's it. That's him. He's like, look, we can talk all we talk, but when we get in there and fight, that's when we'll see what you're really saying. So I think it was smart of Ilya. I think Ilya's making the fight a little bit more personal, which is needed to sell a fight a lot of the times. However, I don't think they've crossed any lines, either of them, at all. In my opinion, I might be completely wrong. I think Ilya is extremely he respects Max, and Max respects Ilya. In fact, I think it's obvious they respect each other. Like, they've never spoken down on each other's skills. But Ilya really wants to sell this fight, really wants to showcase himself. And look, I know everyone's spoken about Alex Pereira being fighter of the year. Maybe I'll do another video on this later on in the year, especially after this fight happens. I know they haven't. Look, rightly so. Alex is the man. Poatan is the man. But if Ilya goes out there and KOs Max or finishes Max in impressive style, he would have beaten Volkanovski, who's seen as the consensus #1 featherweight of all time, and pushed Islam Makhachev really close in the first fight. And then he would have done the same to Max, who's just come off the back of knocking out Justin Gaethje cold, winning the BMF title, and would have won previously against Korean Zombie, I think against Arnold Allen before that as well. Like, if Ilya does that, for me, there's a conversation to be had. Likewise with Max, though. I keep on saying Matt. Likewise with Max. If Max beats Ilya, let's say he goes out and stops Ilya, he would have KO'd Gaethje, won the BMF belt, and then finished Topuria, won the featherweight belt. Again, you've got to put him in the conversation. You've got to put him in the conversation for fight of the year, or male fight of the year, should I say. So, look, I was looking forward to that fight. This is the fight I've been most looking forward to all year, if I'm going to be honest. Inside the UFC, outside the UFC, Ferreira and Ngannou, I'm very much looking forward to that fight, see how that plays out as well. But inside the UFC, this has been the fight. Since Max beat Gaethje, this is the fight that I've wanted to see, just to see how well they match up. But you see, after they did that promo, sign me up, man. Sign me up. So that's the first thing. Second thing, before I play this video and I critique it, I know the thumbnail says Chael and DC are wrong, and it's because I believe they're wrong. But I want to say, I'm not someone who's just going to just rant at someone or content creators or legends of the game just to get clicks and views. I'm going to do it in a respectful way because everyone knows DC is one of my favorite all-time fighters and Chael's one of my favorite MMA personalities. But I do wholeheartedly disagree with a take that they had on their most recent show. So again, I'm hoping I don't get hit with any copyright infringements. If I do, it is what it is. But I want to play this clip and I want to explain why I believe they are both completely wrong here. So I'll let it play.
He's good at getting under Max's skin. I go, you know what else he's really good at? He's really good at fighting. And if you can fight the way that this man fights, then you can carry yourself in that way. And he's picking fights on multiple fronts. He's fighting Islam on one front. He's fighting against Max Holloway on one front. He's making fun of Alexander Volkanovski on the same front. Then he said he's ready to fight against Diego Lopez. This dude has the world at his fingertips, and he's taking note of all of it and saying, I'll do it to all of them. It's crazy.
Yep. No, it's insane, Daniel. And you want to know what? I swear to goodness, and this could be a bridge too far, but it is how I feel. I swear to goodness, this leadership that this new era that we're in about champions fight, champions take on the hardest matches. I don't need a carrot dangled. I don't need a new contract to do the job that I've already said that I would do. I swear to goodness, I feel it is coming from Alex Pereira, and it is working on down. I don't know that the locker rooms had a leader like this when you and I were coming through them. There was a lot of clicks, and guys were kind of keeping to himself. And even if this guy just said it, did you respect him enough? Everything that you just described that Ilya is doing and everything that we know about Max, as much as those guys do deserve credit, I swear to goodness, I feel like that's because that's the way the real leader, the #1 guy right now, the king, is acting. And it's what Pierre would have done. Pierre would have fought anybody, regardless of the storylines, regardless what was on the line. Somebody else picked the date and the venue, get me and him there. And when our music hits, we'll go do it. I'm really feeling that attitude. I'm having a hard time with this Pierre guy because I'm at an age of my life, Daniel, that
I'm going to pause it there. I say this with the greatest respects to Chael Sonnen and DC. But are we forgetting about these three men? Are we forgetting about Adesanya, Volkanovski, and Kamaru Usman? Like, don't get me wrong, guys. Don't get me wrong. Alex Pereira is a legend. And in this segment, I will speak about Alex Pereira as well. But have we forgotten about these three guys? Adesanya, Volkanovski, and Kamaru Usman. Locker room leaders and fighters and champions who were calling out and fighting every and anyone. These guys did it first. Like, granted, Alex Pereira has taken the baton and taken it to a whole nother level. Like, what is it? 3 championship fights in 7 months, defended the belt 3 times in 7 months, saved 2 cards, and is stopping fighters and making them look average because he's so great. Absolutely. Alex Pereira has taken the baton and he's run with it. He is currently the leader of the locker room when it pertains to setting an example to other champions to fight. But guys, man, can we not forget about what Usman, Adesanya, and Volkanovski were doing? Volkanovski was fighting everyone, moved up in weight to fight the boogeyman in Islam and made him look human. Granted, lost the second fight, but he made him look human the first time. And in fact, no, I'm going to speak about the second fight. He took the second fight on short notice, off the couch. That's a locker room leader. Adesanya won the belt from Whitaker, called out Romero straight away, beat Romero, called out Costa, beat Costa, then went up and fought Blachowicz. Oh, and did it on quite short notice. Didn't pack on any muscle, just said, I'm going to rely on my skill. Came up short, went back down, defended against Vittori, defended against Cannonier, like, took the fight against Sean Strickland when he didn't really need to. Like, are we forgetting what Izzy's done? Izzy was a locker room leader, and then Kamaru Usman, like, bloody hell, guys. Masvidal on 6 days' notice on Fight Island during COVID. Fought Colby Covington twice. Gilbert Burns gave Leon Edwards a shot. He could have said, "No, I'm not going to fight Leon." He called out Leon. He made sure Leon got a title shot. He made that happen. Then fought Leon again in his backyard. Lost, came up short. What did he do after that? Says, yeah, someone's pulled out a fight with Hamza. All right, cool. I'll take it on 10 days notice at a higher weight class. And in my opinion, won the fight. Come on, Chael, DC. You guys are legends. You guys are the pioneers of this sport, but you got to give credit to those 3 before you start crediting Alex Pereira, man. Those 3 set the bar. Alex Pereira's taken it and set a new bar, granted, but you can't forget what those 3 did, man. You just can't. You have to rate what those 3 did first, in my humble opinion. So, yeah, I think DC and Chael, they don't get much wrong, but I think they got that one wrong. But still one of my favorite shows to watch on YouTube, 2 of my favorite MMA personalities. So if they do ever see this, hopefully they don't take it in the wrong way. But I do think they should have looked at that and reanalyzed and thought about Usman, Volk, and Adesanya. Right, on to the fight night that is happening tomorrow. So it's going to go through the scheduling. So UFC fight night. Big fights on here, actually. So I'm just going to give my short, real quick prediction. So you've got Al Hassan versus Fremd. I'm going to go Al Hassan by stoppage. Daniel Rodriguez versus Alex Morono. I think it's a really good fight. It's a bit of a sleeper fight. I'm going to go Alex Morono. I think Alex Morono gets the decision victory here. Big fan of Daniel Rodriguez and his story, but I think Alex Morono gets the job done. Grant Dawson, I think, beats Rafa Garcia. That should be a really good fight, though, entertaining. Njoku versus Jared Gooden, 2 powerhouses at welterweight, but I'm going to go with Chidi here. I think Chidi will get the stoppage win. Brad Tavares versus Park Jun-Yong in the co-main event. Ooh, this is a tough one. Park hits really hard. Tavares is really durable and showed really good IQ and different layers to his fight IQ when he fought Weidman, for example. I'm going to go Brad Tavares by decision here. And then finally, the main event, which is Brandon Royval versus Taira, making his debut in the UFC, 16-0, which is crazy that he's going in straight against Brandon Royval, who I believe is number 1 in the division. Like, cojones. But also, I mean, the UFC must really, really believe in Taira to take and give him this fight. If in fact, the last time I think someone came in and made a debut against someone as highly ranked as Brandon Royval might have been Patrick Cummins versus DC, but that was a grudge match. This isn't a grudge match. This is Tatsuro Taira coming in and saying, look, I think I'm the best in the world. I want to prove myself against who you guys have as the second best in the world currently. Remember, Brandon Royval's last win was against Brandon Moreno, fought for the title before that fight. It's a big fight. And I honestly believe they're almost doing this, saying, look, if you go and beat Brandon Royval, you get the next title shot. And let's be honest, Pantoja needs fresh competition. He's pretty much beating everyone in that division who you can beat. So if Taira can go out there and get the win and do it in spectacular fashion against someone as durable and as good as Brandon Royval, then we could have a new player at flyweight, and it could be a fantastic fight between him and Pantoja. So looking forward to that fight night tomorrow. Obviously, you got Bivol versus Beterbiev tomorrow night as well. So we're going to be on Luke's channel for that, doing the watch along. I don't think Luke's done a preview. I've not seen anything on his channel. I'm just going to give my very quick, prediction. Okay, I don't want to, if Luke does do a preview, I want to take away from him. Plus, we'll be on the watch along tomorrow, so I'll go into more depth. I've been saying for the longest time, I think Bivol's going to win. I've kind of changed my mind at the last minute. I think Beterbiev's going to do it. I think Bivol might be the better boxer overall. I just don't know if he can live with the power of Beterbiev. Bivol is brilliant, though, but Beterbiev has got great boxing, but he's also got phenomenal power, and he can also take a beating to give one as well. I don't think we've necessarily seen that from Bivol. If I'm going to be honest, this is the most intriguing boxing match of the year, though. Brilliant fight. And once again, shout out to Riyadh Season. Like, without Riyadh Season, we wouldn't be getting these great fights in boxing. So shout out to Riyadh Season, and long may that continue. Also, shout out to Ben the Bane Davis as well, going up against Oscar Willis in BKFC. Crazy. You got to rate Ben, man. Fought Gabe Silver, Anderson Silver's son in boxing. He's fought in karate combat, and now he's fighting Oscar Willis, the person who heads up the Mat Life on BKFC. Bane has got balls. Like, he's got balls. And best of luck to him. Friend of the channel. Been really supportive of the channel. And yeah, all the best to both men. Hope they both come out of the fight safe and sound. I am rooting for Ben because I know Ben. I don't know Oscar. But yeah, the main thing is they both come out safe and sound, and they have a good fight, good tear up, shake hands after it, shake hands before it, and then continue with the great content that they both produce. So yeah, it's all been fun, guys. Hope you're all well. Please have a fantastic rest of your Friday. As I said, we'll be on Luke's channel, link in the description to his channel tomorrow night for Bivol versus Beterbiev, and also go and subscribe to Jamie's channel, Jamie Phillips Football Chat, link in the description also. It's been a pleasure, guys. This has been the first episode of Friday Fight, or Fight Friday Live. Till I see you next time, people. Mine and you go. Thank you for watching the Sanderson Show. Take care.